So I'm very honored to be invited to share with you and discuss with you about CSR, and I want to learn a lot from you all. And then as Dr. Cannibal explained, I'm from Indonesia, and I'm here for a month, and almost I will leave the day after tomorrow on Saturday, so it's almost a month now. And in the project of a social entrepreneurship project, which is collaborative between about 18 countries and funded by European Union. Yeah? And then, so this is my first visit to Israel. I really am in love with Israel, you know. It's your food, your people, your technology, everything, you know. It's really amazing. And then I went to Jerusalem, Nazareth, Bethlehem, and to enjoy the Holy Land. Yeah. Yeah, and so Dr. Cannibal explained, I'm an edupreneur. My expertise is actually in the CSR area and social entrepreneurship. So I established master degree, you know, in Indonesia. MBA is MM, you know, Magister Management is MBA. So in 2007, I have to explain that I'm executive director of this research center, and it was established in 2001. So since 2001 up until now, we had been receiving funding from the Ford Foundation for many collaborative research, and the last one was in 2007 where I established master degree program in CSR, and we already have 17 batches now. And then in 2013, I established master degree program in community enterprise or social enterprise, but enterprise owned by the community with the funding from the British Council Indonesia. And I'm in the area of CSR. I'm the chairwoman of an advisory committee to the House of Representatives for the drafting of CSR law. You know, in Indonesia, CSR is mandatory for all companies. Even for state-owned companies, they have a certain regulation where they must set aside 4% of their net profit for CSR activities, where 2% is provided for low interest rate loan for small medium enterprises, yeah, and 2% for non-economic, social enterprise, social responsibility activities such as in social and economy, in environment, yeah, and well-being. So, but now they are going to make a special law on CSR. So I am the advisor, and also I'm a vice president of learning at Indonesia Global Compact Network, you know, UN Global Compact, so I'm president of learning. And then of course in Indonesia Chamber of Commerce, I'm a deputy head of permanent committee for social responsibility. So even in the Indonesia Chamber of Commerce, we have a CSR committee. Yeah, so in Indonesia, CSR is a big thing because of our context is different with your context. So I will explain our context. Yeah, please, Dr. Cannibal. Next. Yeah. So first of all, of course, where is Indonesia? You know, here is Indonesia. And the next question would be, oops, next, please. Where is Bali? You know Bali. I know Bali is very popular here, but not Bali Island. You know, but Bali like I really like, you know, your your term of Bali, you know. But Bali to us is an island, you know, an island which is famous of the tourism. Yeah.
But Israelis cannot go to Bali.
Yeah, with.
I'm trying to go to this area, but.
Yeah. Unless you have other passport. Yeah, I really hope, you know, one day there will be diplomatic relationship between Indonesia and Israel, because I had to go to Singapore to apply for my visa and to pick up my visa as well. So the cost of the flight is very expensive compared to the cost of applying the visa, because I'm very happy to go to visit Israel. So we really put a lot of effort to come to Israel as well. Yeah. So and then next, please. So this is our population. You know, 260 million people, and we have more than 18,000 islands. Yeah, so spreading. So this is Indonesia, and next please. Yeah. So these are the white of our islands. Yeah. So this is the Java Island where I live in Jakarta. Jakarta is the capital city. Yeah, and Bali is in here, so it's only small island, and these are other areas. So Papua is also in Indonesia. And this is Aceh. Aceh is different, well, it's part of Indonesia, but they have their own Sharia law, it's different, Next, please. And we have this, principles of Pancasila, or our ideology in Indonesia. And number 3 is the unity of Indonesia, because we have more than about 1,000 ethnic groups, different ethnic groups, yeah. So unity is very important for us. And then democracy led by wisdom. Now it's almost democracy because we have too many political parties, And social justice is, we really wish, Yeah, so this is our dream, social justice, yeah. And then next, please. This is the, the characteristic of, people in Indonesia. So if you talk about, I've been to Indonesia, okay, which part, The part where that is very modern, or the part that is very isolated, yeah. This is in Papua, and this is like traditional farming system. And we are also very diverse, Our president is Javanese and Muslim, and the governor of Jakarta, the capital city, is non-Muslim and Chinese. So this is, very diverse, If you talk about going to Bali, Bali is like this, like here, It's very modern, yeah. But in Papua, it's like this, So it depends on where you go. Next, please. And these are the 5 religions that are acknowledged by the government, yeah. So we have Muslim, Christian, Hindu, Buddhism, and Confucianism, for Chinese, yeah. And then this is our motto. Unity in diversity, and these are different ethnic groups, with traditional dresses, yeah. Next, please. And this is Jakarta, where I live. It's very modern. It's like, maybe like New York, It's, with a population of this amount, And then also we have, we are never sleep like in Tel Aviv, Lots of, for young people who would like to go for having entertainment, this is the place. But if you have a cultural experience, maybe to Bali, to Lombok, to other islands, yeah. Next. And then this is our university. They call us Reformation Heroes University. This is the oldest private university in Indonesia. There are only 22 public universities, because we're very big, very separated, and the government is not rich here, and also there are corruption as well. So we only have about 20 public universities, and the rest, thousands of private universities. And we are the oldest private university. And these are the faculties. Next, please. And then they call it Reformation Hero, because at the time in 1998, where our previous president, Suharto, was forced to step down by the people, and it was our students who initiated the demonstration until 4 of them were shot by the snipers from the military. Yeah, because we are very strong in, protesting. And then after that, then the Suharto stepped down, and then now we become a Reformation Heroes company, university. So we establish a monument to respect them. Yeah, and then CCT is Independent Research Center, and we are self-financed, and then established master degree in CSR and master degree in community enterprise, and we are the think tank. So what we are doing is now we become consultant for CSR for companies. So we have clients from oil and gas companies, from palm oil companies, from manufacturing companies, and in that way I can apply theories into practice. Yeah, and then we design tools for companies, helping companies based on the theories, and we apply the tools to the clients, we test it, and then client happy, and then we use the tools in the class. And then their cases, the client's case, I make it as case studies and use it in the class. So, the class are really, reading and learning about real CSR cases, and then also we design the curriculum, we call it pracademic, practical and academic. So because one subject can be taught by 4 lecturers and 2 from practitioners, 2 from academicians, or 3 and 1, yeah. So that's how it works. So that's why now CCT, can get their own money, and we use the money for scholarship, for NGOs mostly, because NGOs now they want to change their status from donor-dependent organization into social enterprise. Many of them want to join MBA in CE, MMCE, so we provide scholarship for them. Next, please. And we also created award, because we want to educate the market, the people that this is the correct CSR. So it is based on research. So it was last year. Next, please. And then this year will be done in August. Now my team are still, also working on researching for the next award. And we are now also in the process of designing the formulas for SRI, Sustainable and Responsible Investment Index. In the stock exchange, we have SRI. Now the organization that is assigned to make that ask us as the researcher to create the new tools for the SRI. Now, so cross our fingers. So we are working hard to promote CSR. And this is also our collaboration with Indonesia Stock Exchange. So we provided, regular trainings to Indonesia Stock Exchange listed companies, about CSR. So it's serial trainings. And this is me and my husband there. And also special show on TV about CSR, where we discuss CSR of companies and then explain, the how-to, how they can improve and challenges and etc. etc. Now, the question is, why do we have to do CSR and who's responsible for CSR in the company? Is anyone would like to answer? Does anyone would like to answer? Why do you think we need to? Yes, please.
I think it's very important to take care of the community.
Oh, great.
As an organization.
Yes.
And in my opinion, it's like a marketing issue.
Okay.
Like if you help the community, if you do something to improve the community, so the
company's brand.
The
branding would be good. Good, very good. What else? Is there any other reason you think? That's very good.
Maybe the situation in the country,
Yes.
or the environment.
Yes.
Like I said, there is a lot of corruption. It's not good.
That's right.
Try to change it from the business companies, like to enforce it. If the people or if the government is not doing it, so it will come from the business section.
Okay, that's really good. Great. Yeah, so that will benefit the company itself because there won't be any corruption for the company. Yeah, that's great. So what happens if you, for example, in the poor area, like in Indonesia, there are many poor, isolated areas. If you open a big factory there, and then you don't do anything.
people can work.
Exactly. If you don't do anything to the community, what happens? What will they do to your company? Will they be happy? They will not be happy. That's what happened. Yeah. So now I'm asking, if they are not happy, they can stop your operation, right? This is what happened in Indonesia. They block the road and you cannot operate. Yes, and you can lose like $1 million per day. So this is what happened in many places in Indonesia. Now coming back to that branding. So now who has interest in branding? In what department in your company that has interest in branding? Sales, marketing, good. Marketing, great. And for the corruption, in which department that has interest in the corruption? Finance, good. Or maybe governance, yeah, department, yeah. And then for that example of the blocking road, so whose department will benefit from, who has interest in that area? Operation, of course, right? Like operation, yeah. So now my question is, so who benefits from CSR? Everyone, exactly. And then yes, please. Yes.
Because
Yeah.
if you are looking, also the stakeholders would like the company to do the CSR because if not, they're going to lose money. The whole company will lose money, and the stakeholders also won't be
Happy. Yes, and then the first stakeholder that you must think of would be your employees, right? If you lose money, great, yes. So why doing CSR? Because it's benefiting all departments, right? Is it good for business? Apparently it is. And who's responsible for CSR then? Okay, CSR department, are you sure? Everybody, absolutely. Now, the question would be, is it possible that everybody in all departments doing CSR? Yes, it's possible. I will give you examples on how you can make it happen, Next, please. Yeah. So this is another example. The Nike case, yeah? They used to be. Now they are one of the good companies that are doing CSR. So they employ the kids, yeah? But this is the supplier, not them, right? The suppliers maybe in Bangladesh, maybe, in developing countries. Next. And then this is in Indonesia. In Indonesia, it's not enough salary, So they even make a joke, In US, there's no work, but the price of the shoes is $150. In Indonesia, lots of work, but no shoes. This is what happened in Indonesia. So they will make campaign against your product, even though it is done by your suppliers, not by the company. It is in Indonesia, but they attacked Nike. Next. This is, do you know Kit Kat? Yes. Yeah? Nestle. But they campaign, you are a killer of orangutan. This is in Indonesia. Orangutan in Indonesia. Why? They're producing chocolate. Why orangutan? Absolutely correct. So they're using palm oil. And then the way they grow palm oil, that means they have to clear the land and then kill the orangutan, So it is done by their supplier, which is the palm oil company, not done by Nestle. But they attack Nestle. So you have to be careful. It's not just in your company or what your company is doing, but the value chain from the supplier until customer. Yeah, next please. This is also, do you know KFC? Using lots of palm oil. Yeah, so they are accused of, cutting the trees because of the palm oil. Next. This is the cost actually. This is one of the biggest, palm oil company in Indonesia, and it used to be very irresponsible. Yeah, so this is actually the bad organization. Next. Therefore, now that you understand, we know that, do you know ISO 26000? Yeah?
No, not yet.
Not yet, okay, so can I explain, yeah? ISO 26000 is the global agreement on social responsibility, but not for standardization, not for certification. It is only standard guidance. So it is a guidance. Yeah, so a company cannot say, I am ISO 26000 certified. No, cannot happen. Yeah? And according to the ISO, so ISO was composed by more than 160 countries, including Indonesia. Yeah? So they agree on the definition of social responsibility. Because we cannot now isolate ourselves from the global. We are global citizen, right? We are global citizens. That means we need to understand what global think. Yeah? So the global agrees that social responsibility is the responsibility of an organization, not even a corporate. It's for organization. So if you have a social enterprise, if you have a foundation, if you establish an association, that you have to be responsible as well. Responsibility for what? For the impact of your decisions and activities on society and the environment. So before you take action, you have to decide first, right? But before you decide, you need to think about the impact that you will create. Impact. Yeah? How it will impact the society and the environment. So decisions are made throughout value chain, right? You make decisions every day. You have to be responsible for each of your decision. And then through transparent and ethical behavior that contributes to sustainable development. Why transparent and ethical are important according to global? Because in many cases, like in Indonesia, for example, they can pay someone if they, throw away the toxic waste, and then the local environmental agency government will come to them. They will just, come on, sir, just please clean it. This is the money. In a way, I am responsible. I'm giving you money to clean it, But will you be transparent? No, of course. Is that ethical? Of course not. So that's why they're emphasizing on transparent and ethical behavior. That contributes to sustainable development. So what is sustainable development? Okay, maybe before sustainable development. Or do you remember the Brundtland report? The definition of sustainable development from World Council of Sustainable Development. It says it was formulated in 1987, Maybe you were not born at the time. You are like babies. So 1987, it says that sustainable development is the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So we have to think about future generations. Your children, your grandchildren, your great-great-grandchildren, will they have the capacity to meet their own needs, to provide for their own needs, if you don't care about the environment at this time? So you have to consider that. That is sustainable development. So it is a process, a development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations in meeting their own needs. So we have to think about that. So that's sustainable development. So it's a process. Yeah. So before you make decision, coming back to the definition, you need to think of the impact that you will create to the nature. So this is like compass, instead of north, east, west, and south. So it's nature, economy, society, and well-being. Yeah, or news. News is also even easier, yeah? So next, please. And this, SIPOC. This is Tony's term. This is value chain. So before you decide, why do you choose supplier from China instead of from local? Okay, it's cheap. Okay, what's the impact on the local economy? No job, exactly. What's the impact to the nature? Delivering from China to Indonesia, long carbon footprint. How can you be responsible for that? And then input. Input, raw material is part of the input. Why do you choose to use wood instead of bamboo, for example? What would be the impact of choosing wood to the nature? Deforestation. How can you be responsible? So that's CSR. And then process. Why do you choose technology from China instead of from maybe Germany? Yeah, it's more expensive, but it's eco-friendly, more eco-friendly. Yeah, so you need to think about the impact and output and customer. How do you treat the waste of the packages? Like Unilever, they have so much, products and the packages, and the customer just throwing away. And then the output is not just the product, but also the waste. How would you be responsible for that? Yeah? So these are the things that you think about CSR. It's very wide. And the scope, encompassing SIPOC, the value chain, from supplier, input, process, output, and customer. Next, please. Yeah. And this is sustainable development. 17 goals of sustainable development. This is like a menu, like in a restaurant. Okay, which CSR project you want to focus? Yeah. The question is, how can I choose? Yeah. So you need to consider 3 aspects when you choose this. First is which one will mitigate your business risk. If you are in the area of extractive industry, like mining, oil and gas, yeah? So your biggest impact would be in nature, right? Or if you don't care about the nature, like the water, for example, yeah? The deforestation, that will create the biggest risk for your business. So first is, which is the most has created the biggest impact on your business risk, yeah? Maybe, okay, then for extractive industry, so which one they must focus first? Mitigating risk. Where's the water issue? Is there any number? 6, yes. This, for example, yeah? And then maybe what else? 15, great, yes. And then maybe this, and then so that's the first consideration. The second is which one gives you direct impact and which one gives you indirect impact. So first thing is mitigate the risk. That's why it is very important to understand risk management in CSR. Yeah, because the correct CSR is, being responsible for the impact first that you have created from your business. For business, mitigating business risk. That's number 1. Yeah. Next, please. This is the scope of social responsibility according to ISO 26000. Yeah, please have a look at this. In the middle is organizational governance. This is not corporate governance. It's different. It's not good corporate governance. If good corporate governance is focusing on the shareholders, yeah, because it's corporate, here it's focusing on the stakeholders, like you say, yeah? So stakeholders, including internal stakeholders and external stakeholders, employees, all employees and external. And then after that, human right, labor practice is also part of CSR. Fair operating practices, consumer issues, the environment and community involvement and development. In Indonesia, the narrow understanding about CSR, they only think that CSR is only community involvement and development. They don't think that, we are being responsible to our labor is part of CSR. Providing trainings, health and safety, environment, and then dialogue with the labor, it's part of CSR. And we don't understand that consumer issue is also part of CSR. Yes, keeping database of your consumer. Because in Israel, there are many startups in the area of technology, right? Application, they're very brilliant, many brilliant startups, yeah? But you need to protect the database of your consumer. That's part of consumer issues. So they call it core subject. Each core subject has several issues. I'm sure Dr. Inba will explain later in her class. So these are the area of CSRs. If you look at this, so actually number 1 until number 6, yeah, they are related directly to business, right? And this is, yes, external. Yeah? So next, please. Therefore, this is what I say. CSR is not the way you distribute profit. Because many companies think that CSR is like marketing, just like giving back, use your profit to give back, But after we now understand that CSR is very wide and it's very related to business, so CSR is not the way you distribute profit, but CSR is the way you make profit. For manufacturing company, starting from choosing sustainable raw material. And then socially responsible suppliers. We are responsible for what our suppliers are doing. You know, if the suppliers are, paying not enough salary, then it's our responsibility to teach them, to impose that on them.
You can, like, as an organization, you can control everything.
Yes,
Like,
of course.
you cannot
Yeah.
do it.
Yes.
How companies, doing this.
Yeah.
If for example, KitKat didn't
Yes.
know that for making this palm oil, they would
Yeah.
have to kill or, I don't know,
Yeah.
kill the orangutan. So
Yes.
it's not like, what,
How can they?
what's happening if the
How can they?
don't know about the issues?
Yes. If they don't know about the issue, what happened is like in the picture, you know. But how can they? So how can they know? Yeah, that's the question. Yeah, that's why it is very important to monitor, your CSR, and then that's why it is important to have committee of CSR. I will explain to you later. That's really great question. Yeah, so. That's what Nike has been doing as well. So they make a policy for suppliers. If you want to become our suppliers, this is what you have to do. And then we will monitor you every year. We will make a, like evaluation. And then after that, then all of this. So how to achieve sustainability? Next, please. So this is my concept of the link between CSR, sustainable development, and sustainability. Because when people talk about CSR, sustainability, that's too many jargon, So what's the link, yeah? So sustainable development is a process, right? You understood the definition. And sustainability is our end objective. We want to have a sustainable environment. Sustainability in the environment, sustainability in your business, sustainability in the well-being of your employees, sustainability of the society. So sustainability is the end objective. The process is sustainable development. Why not sustainable growth? What's the difference between growth and develop? As a person, you want to grow, well, there's a limit for growing, yeah? You can grow here, like me, for example. But as a person, you can develop, right? To become better person. Exactly the same with the business. So how you do business can develop to do it better and better. So that's a process, sustainable development. But growing meaning expansive. Yeah? So that's why they call it sustainable development. And how can I contribute to sustainable development? By doing CSR. So CSR is like a vehicle to achieve sustainability through the sustainable development road. Yeah, next please. So these are the research in Japan where the investment in CSR can be usefully understood as the form of reputation risk insurance, and 75% of major Japanese firms has CSR committee, and then these are their subscribers of Global Compact, and 88% issue report on their CSR activities. Indonesia is only 116. Next, please. Now, this is the example, Who is responsible for CSR? Yeah? So this is a Bridgestone, the tire from Japan. Bridgestone, they have this. They have a CSR committee, where the head is the CEO. So it has CSR department, and this is the enhancement committee. Look at this. And then these are the strategic business units, Europe, Japan, America, and etc. And then global management platform. So this group, CSR, is responsible directly to the CEO. Next, please. This is Sumitomo, where they have a metal mining CSR committee that is responsible to the president, And then the deputy chair is CSR executive officer. These are the members, and you can see the department. All of the departments are member of the CSR committee. So in this way, everybody is responsible for CSR. Yeah, next please. And then how can we measure the benefit of CSR? Of course, it is in the form of reputation, morale of the employee, better relations with stakeholder, and more efficient use of resources, and innovative marketing. Next please. And next please, some example. This is in Unilever, they have CSR in SIPOC, where for the supplier, they have this program, Sustainable Agriculture Code, and for the input, part of the input is the employee, So they have Fun Vitality Employees Program, which is exercise for employees and outing and etc., etc. And then in the process aspect, they have Zero Water Waste Program. In the output, now package wastes are converted into fashion. They call it trashion, It's in Indonesia, so from trash into fashion, They make bags. Yes, in Indonesia, they are making these bags and umbrella and wallet, yeah? But the thing is, if the bags are broken, then it will become waste again, So ideally, they have to convert that into a new material for package again, yeah? So there's like, sustainable consumption and production. And then customer, they have this Customer Innovation Insight Center, and the profit increased by 16%, and even in China, there's increased by 20%. So there is a business benefit, because if you convince your boss about CSR, they would say, well, show me the money of CSR. Yeah. What's the business benefit? So you need to convince them. It is business benefit in the area of risk mitigation. Like you explain corruption and, relationship with the stakeholder, with the employees, and etc. You need to think about that first. It has to be with the business first. It has to come. So let's come back. So CSR is an investment, It's not an expense. It's an investment that will give you return in the future. One way of measuring the return, we teach about SROI, social return on investment, for CSR. So that company will be convinced, there is a return from my investment in CSR, billions of rupiah, millions of rupiah. Next, please. And this is in Acer, they have using recycled material for casing, this is for China. Next, please. This is at FedEx, So they change. This is the benefit for the cost area, in doing CSR. Yeah. So change the engine wash process that saved the company this 1 million gallons of fuel, and then change the routing. Only change the route, Yeah. Instead of maybe going there, they change maybe here or maybe straight. Yeah. Only changing the route, they can save this 9,000 gallons. And then remove, the old container into a new container, change into new container, and then they will save these gallons. So if you can show this to your board of directors, they understand, this is in the area of process. This is in the area of, process as well. This is input, SIPOC, Next, please. And this is example in Indonesia, of course, environment training, health and safety. Next, please. Of course, this manual of health and safety, If there's no accident, then you will save your money as well. Next, please. And this is part of Danamon, is a bank, which is one of the biggest bank, a private bank in Indonesia. In Indonesia context, we have, millions of traditional markets. But now people tend to go to supermarket or mini market. And that is not good for the micro and small entrepreneurs, right? Because they will not get income. People don't want to go to traditional market. Why? Because it's very dirty. So that's why they have this program of, cleaning the market. And then now they gain the business benefit. Most of them are now the clients, customers of the bank. So there's a business benefit. So it's an investment, Next, please. And this is from the electricity company in Indonesia, where they pay electricity using waste. So instead of saving your money, saving your waste, So you give the waste, to the bank. They call it bank waste, and then you can use, and then you can convert. They will convert into money, and then they will convert into your electricity bill. And in this way, they save the money for the community and also save the environment. Yeah. Yes, please.
The electric company is public or private?
It's a public company.
So they told the people to bring their waste, like convince them to clean?
Yes, that's right. So they collaborate with local NGOs and collaborate with academic institutions, to help them coordinate the local community, to ask them gather the waste every once a week, and then weight them, and then separate. This is plastic. This is the price of the plastic, price of the paper, and etc., etc. And then they convert that into the electricity bill, So then they call it a waste bank. Yeah. Next, please. And there are challenges in Indonesia. Next, please. In Indonesia, we have many regions, more than 500 regions in Indonesia. And many regions have their own regulation on CSR. So the company's headache, when you go to this island, this region, this regulation we have to follow. And then move to other region, the same island, new regulation, I have to understand. So this is the list of the regulations, they are the challenges. Next, please. Next, please. And because of this is like a boomerang for us, because there's a regulation of, remember, 4% of the public company, they must set aside 4% from that net profit, but it's only for public companies. Then the society has the perception that CSR is money, right? So CSR is our right. So they protest. You have to do CSR. So you imagine you're talking about 260 million people in Indonesia, in remote areas, with different, academic background and etc. So next, please. Yes, please, sure.
If you have different regulations in different areas, so would it be better to stick to the most strict regulations? So wherever you go, you can fit there.
Yeah, that's in theory very ideal, But the thing is, the region or the local governor in that region, he would say, okay, the company would come and say, I follow the central government regulation already. Yeah, that's central. This is region. If you don't follow us, we won't give you permission. So that's what happened, But not all of them, of course.
New companies, or if they know they want to expand, so would they fit themselves before
Yeah, they need to learn. That's true, yeah. They need to learn about the current regulation, the region regulation, but mostly are only about coordinating, But they need to understand to whom they need to coordinate, when is the time for coordination, and etc., etc. Yeah. Some of the regions work, especially those with clean government, when their aim is to facilitate, the business. So they want the private sectors to be happy, efficiently working there. So they will, discuss with the companies. These are our agenda to build infrastructure, for example. But we only have budget of maybe 70%. For 30%, can you discuss with other companies? Can you help us as part of your CSR? So in return, we will help you with your permissions, or anything, You need us to help you in what area? Just tell us. So that works. That's how it works, in certain regions. Because you imagine, the remote area, like the picture I showed you before, they don't have electricity, they don't have good water system, and etc. Yeah, and sometimes also like a boomerang, where the company is facing the community protesting. So they close the road, they block the road, the truck cannot go through, and they will ask money. Give us CSR money. We want to do our own CSR. Just give us the money. And because the company's shocked and afraid, okay, whatever they ask, just give. It's nothing compared to the loss that we are going to experience, yeah? And they don't realize they become the ATM machine, you know? Yeah, so 24 hours they must be ready, you know? And then sometimes company, because they don't know how to do efficient CSR, they would say to the community, just give us proposal, and then we will analyze and we will pay. And this is also the perception of the government. CSR is about money and thanks for your donation. So CSR is about donation only. Next, please. And also these activities, yeah, CSR practices, you know, there are many community development, low-cost loans, and then philanthropy activities. And next, please. But the outcome, you know, this is what happened when we analyze, evaluate, yeah, one of our clients, CSR. So they provided small and medium enterprises with a soft loan or low-cost loan to about 20 small medium entrepreneurs. But only 3 were successful. And, you know, previously, before the company gave them anything, they have a social cohesion, you know. They are very good community. But after that happened, they envy each other. There's no more social cohesion there. So you have to think about the impact of your decision and activities, yeah. And then many unfinished project, and project is in progress, and demand-based CSR project, we want this, we want that, you have to give us this, and etc. And then next, please. Also this. Sometimes they need to help the government to provide public facilities, you know, because the government is so poor. Infrastructure, public facilities. So they built toilet, public toilet. And then they hand over to the current region, local government leader, yeah? And then about 2 years later, it changed. And then they already put their logo here, and nobody take care of the toilet, you know? And it's very bad for your brand, yeah? So this is what happened. That's why we call it these activities as, next please, kiss and run, you know? You can, okay, I give you toilet, yeah? Mwah, bye, you know? I give you this money, bye-bye. So kiss and run, yeah? So please don't create kiss and run CSR programs. You need to help the society to maintain your legacy. So your legacy costs you a lot of money, right? And effort, you know, and time. So you need to teach them how to maintain. So you have to imagine very remote area people, you know. They need to be trained how to maintain toilet, you know, how to maintain and other legacies, yeah? Next, please. So that's why Tony and I created, this is one of our tools, CSR program implementation or project management in CSR. We call it Ardiaty Siemens CSR life cycle. So before you create CSR, you need to conduct due diligence. In ISO 26000, there is a word of due diligence, and the due diligence consists of several activities. In our context, in ISO, the context of ISO, due diligence consists of you have to analyze the impact of your decision and activities to the sustainability, to the environment, and etc. So you, in our context, besides that, you need to also conduct social mapping. You know, map the needs of the environment, the community, and then also you need to analyze the risk. Number 3 is, you know, risk analysis, yeah, and planning of mitigation, yeah, and then stakeholder mapping and analysis. You need to understand who are the mafia, you know, who should be avoided, who should be, you know, involved in the program, yeah, who should be trained, and etc. So mapping and then analyzing, yeah. And after that, then you make program proposal with a clear target and etc. And then planning and implementation, handover, and etc. So this is our tools. Next, please. And these are our, this is the result of our research based on several FGDs and then our, you know, dealing with our clients. These are the key success of CSR. Number 1 is same perception about CSR. If your board of directors is thinking that CSR is only about distributing, your profit, then dangerous. Whatever you do, he would say, CSR, it's just wasting your time, wasting money. Just take some from our profit, So number one is same perception about CSR, and I would suggest ISO 26000 as one of the main source. And then after that, leaders' commitment, make a CSR committee. That's the commitment, yeah. And then after that, contextualizing the CSR based on, in our context, we have many local wisdom, Unilever had very great program in Java Island, but in East Java. It's called Green and Clean. It was very successful there. But when they replicate that to Jakarta, the same island, but west part, totally failed. Why? Because the context is different. In that area, many people are really living there. Their homes are there. But in Jakarta, it's not their home. They're only there for work. So whatever program you create there, they don't care. Because it's not my home. My home is outside Jakarta. So it's just one example, So that's why you need to contextualize. And then partnership is very important. That's why partnership with academic institution is very important. That's what we are doing now. And then with NGOs and this project and risk management. So in our subject, we have a project and risk management because Tony is the expert in the area project and risk management. And negotiation skill, of course, not just external but internal. You need to convince your boss first. Boss, this is not just about distributing your profit. This is about investment, And then creativity and competency-based training. Training for board of director is different from training for the staff, And then governance of CSR. So I think that would be all. Next, please. Yeah, thank you very much for your attention. And maybe you would like to have questions. I would love to entertain your questions.
It's only my opinion.
Yeah, sure.
I think that CSR is more about creativity than just big words and government and the legal issues or the society issues. I think that if they, for example, the company that put the logo on the toilet project,
Yes.
for example, would know the crowd or the society they are
Helping.
trying to help
Yes,
to,
yes, yeah.
and use it as a creative way to, I don't know how to explain
To help them,
in
to
a
help them.
creative way.
Yeah.
In some case, it will make profit for them, like to
Yes.
build the toilets.
Yes.
I don't know if it's, I think that creativity is the most important part in
Yeah,
this area.
yeah.
If you want the crowd or the people,
Yes.
society to cooperate with you,
Yes.
and
That's right. That's why you need creativity and negotiation skill. But the tools that we created, the step-by-step tools. Number one is due diligence. That means you need to really understand what they need, because we're talking about remote areas. They actually need, the local government at the time thought that maybe if you build a public toilet, they will not go to the river to do their things. That's in Indonesia, in remote area. They do the thing in the river, and they also take the water from the river, and they wash in the river, and they do the thing in the river. So the government thought, okay, just build public toilet, and they will come there. Because there's no education, the needs of, having that, they still do it outside, that's why it's remain unmaintained, And for example, in the IT industry, don't forget about the SIPOC, So what's your business would be, impacting the SIPOC, For example, you can think of who's going to be using your application. You need to inform your customers about, there's also some limitations of my application. So that's also part of your responsibility, like creativity, but it's directly related to your business. The customer will feel safe. Oh, I better use your application because you tell us, don't do this because you might have this. Don't do that because, oh, better do this because you will get better this. So you guide them very clearly, for example, you know. And then maybe you also explain that those who are creating our applications, we provide CSR for them. Anything, maybe you also give them opportunity to become startup. Maybe, yeah, your suppliers. Or maybe you form a community of, you know, brilliant genius in IT, you know. And then they will provide education for maybe young people, like high school students. How to create an application for free. That's part of your CSR. You know, so it's really based on your context. Should be contextualized to your business, number one, and sustainability of your business. If your suppliers are, you know, involved in your CSR, they'll be very proud to become your suppliers. You know, we are the suppliers of her, what's your name? Shani. I'm the supplier of Shani's company. She's very responsible, you know. She's thinking about future generations. She wants to create future generations, you know, very brilliant in IT development to make Israel, you know, the biggest IT in the world, maybe the leading company in the world, for example. So they are happy working with you, and your company will be sustainable. Other company will ask them to join. No, I better be loyal to her company or give you many inputs for innovation in your company, because they are proud to be your suppliers. And also your customers, they would suggest, you know, if it's going, you know, scaling up into the world market, they will suggest their friends, oh, use this application, this is the safest application, you know, so things like that. Yeah, creativity, of course, but it can be very related to your business. Yeah. Thanks for the question. Maybe other questions? Yes, please. After that, then the lady.
All this CSR progress in Indonesia help the country or the remote areas.
Yes.
Did it really make a difference, or it just a lot of regulation and the money, let's say,
gone?
Left, maybe they put a lot of money to stop the protest, but they are still cutting the forest. I don't know.
Yes. In many cases, it worked, you know, because of the protest. So there are many forces, you know, not just from the protests, from the NGOs, but also from the government. Now government is really trying to make the regulation really work, like enforcement, but not all of the local governments, but now it becomes a very serious issue, and the contributions of the CSR to the communities are quite significant now, but still they want to know how to do it the most efficient way. Because I'm in Indonesia Chamber of Commerce, so we created a guidance, a small version of ISO 26000, and then we conducted like dissemination activities to big cities and to train our members how to conduct CSR in an efficient way.
How you do CSR in like big cities or in a population like in Israel?
Yes.
It's very mixed.
Yes, multicultural. Yes, yeah.
Multicultural.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think it's more hard
Yeah.
to CSR and to know what is the specific needs.
Yes, that's right.
How you do it.
Yeah. Okay, just remember, you know, the definition of social responsibility. Being responsible for the impact of your decision and activities, yeah? The impact to what? To news, yeah? Nature, economy, well-being, and society, yeah? So now, you as future leaders, I ask you, what are the issues in nature in Israel?
The water,
In Tel Aviv, for example. Sorry?
the water in the Kinneret Lake. Sea, lake.
No, it's not.
Sometimes it pops up every few years. Yeah,
Disappearing of?
The Dead Sea.
Oh, wow, that's great. Yeah, that's in Israel. Okay, number one. Why is it disappearing?
because the factory
Sucking the water from them to do
new products.
tourism.
Okay, good. So that's nature, yeah? So they don't, what do you call that, make it back to the previous condition, yeah? So they don't care about whether it's going to be raining or not, right? Because God creates water, right? Raining, yeah? So that they don't care. Okay, that's nature. And then for the economy side, so what do you think the problem in Israel?
There was also the
Do you have any poor people here?
No,
All of them are rich? Do you have any poor society here?
Of course there is, but it's
Many reasons. Is it? Poor?
one of 3 children is poor.
Okay.
That his mother is
Yeah, poor meaning. So that's a good question. What do you identify as poor? They cannot have enough food? Everybody can eat 3 times a day here? Yes? Not everybody? Yeah, so there's a problem.
the mother doesn't know where she's going to get his next
But the
meal.
poor, what you call poor in Israel, it's not the same poor.
Of course, that's why I asked about in Israel. In Israel.
definition of poor,
Yeah, okay, so what's their definition of poor then in Israel?
like the OECD.
Okay, the old city. So they are poor people in the old city. Okay. Oh, sorry. Oh, OECD, sorry. OECD, yeah. Okay, yeah. So I mean, so if there is, you think there is no, like Dr. Inbal mentioned, the women here.
Israel is second only to Mexico according to the OECD. Very on the level of poverty.
Yeah, so there is an issue of economy, yeah? And then well-being, is everybody happy here? So well-being, there is an issue, yeah? You agree, yeah? So not everyone is happy, yeah? And then the society, what about the society? Do you think you have a social cohesiveness everywhere? Not really, yeah? Some of them, you don't have like a really cohesive society. So you actually have many problems. And then now after you identify, oh, these are the problems, you know. So which one will be risk to my business? That will be question number 2, you know. So which one? So if your business is related to water, for example, or tourism, for example, because it's the Dead Sea, yeah? Or maybe employment or something like that. Do you have any
I
question?
just thought about something like
Okay.
we have once a year the Nike race,
Okay.
the sports Nike race.
Oh,
I
yes.
just thought like their
Activities?
what they think
Yeah.
is like if people are going to get fat, that there is no one to buy our products, or so that's the reason they do it, or what's the profit they get, because they don't do like a pop-up store there to buy the product. They just give the roads, they close the roads and they let
Yeah.
everybody to
Yeah.
buy.
Sponsor a marathon in Tel Aviv.
Yeah. But do you know that that race is done by Nike?
Yes.
That's their main reason. That you know, it is Nike. We don't take money from you. We care about your health. That's branding, you know? That's branding. That's the CSR, using philanthropy, money, actually for marketing, yeah? But it's creating branding. But on we call it cost-related marketing. You know, there's a theory, cost-related marketing. So CSR can be used as instrument to get more profits. So there are 4 big theories. I think Dr. Inbal will explain to you. First, it's instrumental theory, where you can use CSR as an instrument. The second is political theory, where you can use CSR to gain social license to operate. You know, you imagine Indonesia, they block the road and etc. That's social license to operate. To get their license from the society, then there's a political theory. You can conduct CSR as a political, tools, and then integrative theory, where you accommodate the interests of the whole stakeholders, accommodating in your business decision. that's integrative. And the last is ethical theory, where you conduct CSR to contribute to sustainable development. So it's a bigger area of CSR. Yeah, so that's part of CSR. So, you know, the come back to your question, after the first assessment, yeah, conducting due diligence, then you should think about which, you know, problem will affect my business, will become risk to my business. Yeah, and then the third would be then how can we, you know, mitigate this through CSR activities. Yeah, so I'm sure everywhere there's always a problem, and then that's why it's very important to relate that to risk, you know, but it's not always should be related to risk, yeah. Like you said, maybe Nike, there is a risk that people will get fat and nobody will buy my product, you know. There is also a risk, right? So it's risk mitigation as well, yeah, in the long term, yeah. So that's why CSR is very related to business, you know. That's why part of the activities of mitigation risk is through CSR, yeah.
How can we as educators
Yes.
face the cynicism of the students?
Of the students,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Because when I asked you now, you heard Professor Ardiaty, how many of you do believe that CSR can contribute to your business, not only by marketing or by, you know, creating reputation, but actually as a source of creating the change that will you will gain more profits in the long run. Look at understanding sustainability and including it as part of your business. How many of you do really believe in it?
Come on, honest answer. Be honest.
Protect your grades, I promise you.
Yeah, I think I believe it, but I'm not sure I believe it enough to convince the employers. That my future employers, I don't know how much they would be convinced. So that's the most important level, I think, to get
Yeah.
approval or the budget to do things.
Okay, and you? Yeah.
As a business owner,
Yeah.
once you create a business,
Yeah.
it's small.
Yeah.
Let's
Yes.
start, it's a small business.
Yes.
You don't have enough money, finance to, I guess, to invest in CSR. But, as you said, in the long run, as the company grows, you get more money, more revenue. I think it's important, as you said, as a risk avoidance.
Yes,
To
yes.
use this.
Yeah, yeah.
You have some points I agree, some points I don't agree, but
Yeah, yeah.
there is a logic in using, say, CSR as your marketing tool or as a risk mitigation tool. There is a logic in it.
Okay. Yeah. In fact, you can save money first doing CSR. For example, turn off your light, you know, before, if you don't use it. Make a culture in your company. Don't forget to turn off the light. Or use just enough tissue or water, you know. And like Tony said, so that's saving money. Second is you don't need money to do CSR. Because who is the most important stakeholder for your business? Who? Internal or external stakeholders? Internal. Who? Who are they? Employees, of course, yeah? So you can, you know, like Tony said, you just show that you care about them. You know, you talk to them every day. Hi, how are you? Good morning. And how is your family? How is your weekend? And when they work, is there anything I can do to help? Do you have any problems in your work? Just maintaining good relationship. If you look at ISO 26000, there is one in the labor practice is relationship, employee relationship. So you relate with your employees by open communication, you know, making them feel like you are a big family. You're in a family. So they feel safe, they feel proud, and there is no gap between, because if especially if it's a small company, yeah, you are as the CEO or owner, you know, you can do that, you know. You can start by doing that without money, yeah. So because resources are not just money, but also time and you know, attention, and also even it can save money, you know, save the water, bring your own bottle, yeah. during meeting, you don't use a plastic bottle, you know. And then in our university, even this is related to helping the economy of the society. The rector, the president of university, prevent, branded food to come, like KFC, Starbucks. You cannot come inside Coca-Cola, no. You cannot open that because we want to help micro, medium, and small entrepreneurs surrounding our university. So those who are selling inside are only the micro and small entrepreneurs, you know. And also the university prevent the use of styrofoam, you know, and things like that. And during Ramadan, you cannot make a sale, you know, there. Of course, the owners of the business must consider, you know, that risk and etc. etc. So it can be done in many, like you said, creative ways, you know, of doing CSR. Yeah. So, yeah. Please, yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Like in the Muslim religion,
Yeah.
there's Ramadan, and in the Jewish religion, there's Yom Kippur, which is fasting one day. So even, I think there's no law about it, and if you're non-Jewish, then you don't have a problem opening your restaurant or whatever. But there is example of Abu Lafia. I don't know if all the branches, but at least a specific one.
Yeah.
They're not Jewish, but they have a bakery, a big bakery. And they don't open in Yom Kippur.
Okay. Yeah.
To respect.
Yes, that's right.
Jewish people. And
Yeah.
This is something that is caught in my head.
Okay. Yes.
So that's good branding, I think.
That's right. Yes.
I think
Yeah.
it's very good example.
Yeah, that's really great example. In Indonesia as well, some, you know, they sometimes they cover with curtain, you know, so that people outside cannot see that. Yeah, and then that's part of the doing CSR. And I would also like to thank Dr. Inbal and all of your attention. You've been really great students, brilliant students. Yeah, I'm very happy and very honored, you know, to be able to share and learn a lot from you.
Hub Media.